Hey guys, this is Luminous and welcome to the 6.84 Pub Stomper mini-series, in which for the next 6 weeks, I'll be telling you guys some of the best heroes you could pick and own in your pub games. Take this with a grain of salt because this is really from my own personal experience, as well as the experience with my friends. And in this series, I'll be telling you guys what these heroes are great at, when you want to pick these heroes, and just some overall gameplay and tips regarding the heroes. In the first week, we'll be talking about carry heroes. You can't talk about carry heroes without mentioning the best carry hero in 6.84, which is Gyroopter. Gyroopter is just amazing at taking early fights and defending a tower. He can farm insanely fast, whether it's the stack jungle camp or the stack ancient camp, and he could carry in the late game. Now, one thing to know about this hero is that his attack range is fairly short, so he can be bullied around in the early laning stage, so make sure that you have some long range support that could back you up. Now there's two things that you want to watch out when you're playing Gyroopter. One, first make sure that your jungle is always stacked. Ask your support to stack it for you, or you could get a Helm of Dominator and stack it yourself. And of course this also applies to the Ancients. And you want to stack Ancients and jungle because you could farm them so quickly, and Gyroopter is a very farm dependent hero, so you need to get those gold from the jungle. Second, Gyroopter is really good at fighting early and late, so make sure you carry those teleport scroll. If you see that your team is pushing for an early tier 2 tower, consider joining them. Or if you guys are under siege early, TP in and drop down those call down. If you're considering learning a carry hero in this patch, Gyroopter's gotta be the first one because he's just so good at doing every single thing. Moving on from Gyroopter, let's talk about ganking carries, so your Slark, your Ursa, but today I'm going to be talking about Slardar. I personally love playing these kind of ganking carry because they're very explosive once you get your first ganking item. Now before that, you're kind of just lasting in lane, you're not really doing much, but once you get that blink dagger, you're walking around the whole map and just killing everybody, including the carry. Slardar, like Ursa, has the added benefit of being able to take Roche fairly quickly with amplified damage, but unlike Gyroopter, you can't pick Slardar in any situation. You really want to pick Slardar with a team that could push because you could kill heroes, but you're not hitting towers that quickly. Generally, you don't want to pick Slardar against heroes that could deal a ton of burst damage, since you're going to be sprinting a lot of time. If you're going up against things like Lina or Queen of Pain, you're not going to have the best of time. A big gameplay tip about Slardar is that you want to finish the game relatively early. After your Blink and BKB, that's kind of the time you want to start getting high ground and Raxes. A common mistake I see a lot of Slardar players doing is that they drag the game out for too long, and that's generally when supports could get tanky enough to survive your combo, and they could start buying things like 4 staff, and you're gonna get kited. So if you're playing Slardar or any kind of ganking carry, you want to get the advantage from the kills early, and then close the game out. Now here's a hero that I don't really know why people aren't picking more of, Lycan. Lycan is a split pushing god. Let's look at what 6.84 gave him. Necro 1 and 2 got buffed, great. Desolator got cheaper, excellent. Killing Raxes and buildings give you more gold, awesome. This hero is so good at this patch, especially against teams that like to group up. When you're playing a split pushing Lycan, you need a team that could play 4 versus 5 because you're not going to be helping your team for the majority of the time. Your team either needs to be able to defend towers, or they're really good at ganking and picking apart the map and just causing all type of havoc for the enemy team, so you could do what you want to be doing, which is eating building for breakfast. Lycan is really good against immobile lineup like 5-man pushing team. If they're 5-man pushing you down the mid lane, hopefully your team could defend and you just solo push to another lane, and generally you're going to be pushing faster than most 5-man lineups. Now for the most part, you give your team huge gold advantage from building, and you actually never fight. That's the important thing. If you have to fight, keep in mind that your Necrobooks have max movement speed, and essentially they could solo support, so stick them on the support and watch them cry. Try out Lycan in some games because I think he's really powerful and should be picked more often. The last type of carries I want to talk about are the carries that get an early mech and lead the team in a 5-man push. These carries like Necrolite or Razor or Viper are so good at laning. Now they're not really going to get any kills per se, but they're great at last hitting and denying, and more importantly, you're really not going to kill them because they have great sustain and harass. Now for the most part, when you're kind of drafting around a 5-man push lineup, you just want teammates that has either a lot of burst damage so you could blow up creep wave or enemy heroes, or you just want to be really tanky, so if they keep throwing nukes at you, you don't really care. And I generally pick these type of carries if I notice that they want to go ultra late game. So if I see a Dusa, yep, I'm picking a 5-man pushing team against you, and there's nothing much you could do about it. Now, pretty much like the ganking carries like Slardar, you want to end the game early. You get the mech, you push, you get more items, you push more. Now, the difference is that heroes like Necrolite, Razor, and Viper, if the game goes late, you still have some great options. Necrolite picking up the Aghanim Scepter, Refresh Orb, that's a great way to end the game. Razor has a ton of late game options, including things like Refresh Orb, BKB, Assault Cuirass. So even if the game time says 60 minutes and you have a quote-unquote pushing lineup or a pushing carry, you're not out of the game. I think these carries are generally not very popular because you really depend on your team to be pushing with you, but they're very, very powerful if you could get your team to push with you. And that's going to be it for this week's 6.84 Pup Stompers. Now, I didn't talk about Troll, I didn't talk about Juggernaut, and I think there are still very good carry heroes in this patch, but I think the heroes I've talked about this patch are just that much better. Next week, I'll be talking about the heroes that you play on the mid lane in 6.84. So until then, I hope you guys have fun carrying your team. Or trying to.